Deputies and their Sheriff Donnie Youngblood asking the taxpayers to help fund more positions that could beef up their staff, all through a proposed sales tax increase on the November ballots.
23 ABC's Alyssa Flores riding along with the deputy in one of Kern County's most rural areas to see the reality of how they say staffing issues are compromising safety.
Tim, Jessica, when deputies find themselves in a compromising situation in some of these rural areas, they have to wait up to 30 minutes before their backup arrives. A safety concern for law enforcement and the public. Now, Sheriff Donnie Youngblood saying the solution lies in critical funding on the line in the upcoming election.
I know when I'm in town. The good people and the bad people know when I'm in town.
Roughly 2,000 people in the town of Boron, with one deputy charged with keeping the community safe.
On my days off, there is nobody else assigned to Boron. It's just me.
Deputy John Puga is the only familiar face of law enforcement known in Boron.
Even if I don't catch somebody, at least they see my car driving around, and it's somewhat of a deterrent.
Manning an area that should be staffed with 4 people, he does the best he can alone.
There's a lot of theft. There's a lot of assaults that go unreported because they believe that law enforcement, the sheriff's department's not helping them out anyways.
He answers all the calls, knows the community by name.
Steven!
But when things take a turn for the worst, backup can be as far as 30 miles away.
That's how we do our job out here. And it's very, very dangerous.
That was the case back in July.
It was a petty theft call.
When Deputy Puga least expected it, he responded to Family Dollar ready to take a theft report, not expecting to come into contact with the suspect.
When we go outside, and maybe I can write you a ticket and get you on with your day.
But the situation escalated quickly.
And I said, all right, at this point, you're under arrest.
The confrontation became physical. Puga wrestled with the suspect for about 15 minutes, only able to get control of the situation after drawing his weapon.
I had no idea who this guy was. I didn't know he was a fugitive. Turns out he was a parolee at large. So he was a wanted person, bad guy.
It was about 24 minutes before backup coming from Mojave was able to get to him.
Doing all the things that are necessary to keep this person from becoming a life-threatening event. This one could have ended up there very easily.
Sheriff Donnie Youngblood pointing at the altercation as a classic example of the department's dire need for funding, especially in rural substations.
The bad guy will take advantage of a situation knowing he's the only officer within miles. If in a Boron, and they know that. Fraser Park, they probably would know that.
And Youngblood says staffing is just part of the problem. It's also retention. KCSO says as the lowest paying law enforcement agency in the Central Valley, in the last 5 years, 144 deputies have left KCSO to take jobs at other agencies. In Bakersfield, there are 75 deputy positions. 25 of them remain vacant.
The city announced they were going to have the 1-cent sales tax and that they were going to hire 100 additional officers. I knew where they were going to come from.
The 1% county sales tax on the ballot this November is expected to generate $35 million. If passed, Youngblood assuring the public that about $21 million of the revenue would go to public safety.
Every day somebody leaves, that's a hole, another hole, a bigger hole in either substations or local patrol.
Covering Mojave, Boron, Rosamond, North Edwards, and everywhere in between, Puga says it's something his substation can't afford.
I could be out there by myself and then face, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys out in these rural areas. I can be outmanned and outgunned at any time.
The measure would raise Kern County's tax rate from 7.25% to 8.25%, and voters will decide on November 6th. In studio, Alyssa Flores, 23 ABC.